good afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is wherever you are, but today we are in Jared's Chevy Colorado ZR2. If you watched the last video, we built that bed rack for the ZR2 for us to be able to go on our overlanding trip, and that has been completed. We have a couple more things that we have to finish up on it, just the hinge that's going to support the weight. We have to add some Rotopax mounts to it so we can take gas with us also. And today we are going to be working on a way to wire his lights. In the Jeep, it's super easy because Jeep has already pre-ran some different wires for the auxiliary switches inside the Jeep. With the Colorado, it doesn't have those amenities. So we are going to get in to try to figure out how to wire this up to make it work. We're going to mount a switch inside the truck. There's a couple videos on YouTube that we saw that weren't very helpful. So hopefully this is helpful for someone else. If you guys haven't already, like and subscribe. We appreciate all the subscriptions, and your likes actually do something. They tell YouTube that people are enjoying the content. And if there's anything that you have questions on, feel free to ask in the comments below. We're going to try to get into this. It hopefully doesn't turn into an all-day project, but we're not very sure on how to get the wire through the firewall. We also got to find a good place to mount it. We got to mess around in the fuse box a little bit. So I'll try to capture as much as I can for you guys, and hopefully this is helpful for you. And if it is, leave a comment, leave a like. We appreciate it. Decision becomes putting the switch in here, putting the switch over here. Where else did you say? We're putting it on the other side, which is this side of the driver. Here. It makes sense probably most to put it there because you're not going to accidentally touch it with your knee or flip it on and not pay attention or accidentally leave it on when you go in for the night. I hope. The lights are going to be bright, so I think you would know if you left it on. Yep. But that'll just keep from any accidental things happening. I did get a trim removal kit that just got delivered today, right before you showed up. So we can take all these trim pieces off, which we're probably going to need to do in order to get in there and to run the wires appropriately. Did you find there's...
So the hood wires come through down in here. You're probably not going to be able to see it.
Yeah, I probably can't see it that well.
But there is a spot to shove this through.
So underneath your brake pedal, pretty much, there is a spot in the firewall, it looks like, for you to be able to run wire from the engine compartment down through. And then we're just going to try and run it along here, get it in to where we can mount in this space. So I think we have a pretty effective plan. We have a bunch of different wire. We found the right wire. The battery terminal has a lot of spots where you can wire things to in different amperage. So there's a lot of different opportunities there. And we're just gonna get after it real quick and try to see if we can get it just roughed in, I guess, just like a house. We'll get it roughed in so we can see what is working. We're gonna get them connected and make sure the switch works. Once we have the switch working, we know that that's gonna work okay. Get the relay figured out, get the fuse box, or get the fuse put in the fuse box, and we should have a pretty good idea here within the next 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we were able to get through this spot up in here. Oh, where's the wire? Right here. And there's a little rubber grommet, I guess you could call it, that is what the hood latch goes through up into the front. And we were able to get that off or to go through that. If you can see right there. So we were able to get it that way. We had to tape the wire to an Allen wrench, a small little Allen wrench that I can't find right now. But we taped the wire to it, poked a little hole, and I ended up having to cut it a little bit with a razor blade so that it would fit through it. So we were able to get that through. Now we have the wire finally through, and now it's just about trying to find out where we're going to mount the switch, and making sure the lights wire up and turn on before we go through all the trouble of mounting the switch. So getting the wire through was a pain. They don't really give you many spots, and the ones that you do have, we had to kind of destroy a bit. So we're gonna put electrical tape around it just to kind of seal it up, because I'm sure that's what he's going to use in the future for more lights and more switches. I don't know what he's going to do, but more gear, more mods. All right, so we were able to get the lights wired through here. The lights are mounted on the brackets that are on the hood. We put a wire with a fuse in it, so there's too much voltage coming from the battery. It doesn't burn the lights out, it'll burn the fuse out before it burns the lights out. The lights are connected over there. We're gonna be able to run the wiring down and hide it underneath this piece of rubber. It's probably something to keep the water from coming into the hood or into the engine bay if it's raining. And that will be able to keep everything pretty much together. So once we get this done, he's wiring up the switch now, and then we'll try to turn them on and see if we get them to work or you break them. It's all right, you already ruined it. Are you nervous about it?
Kind of.
But you'll wire up a panel into a house that's hot.
Because I know how that works.
Yeah, no, I know how that works too. Good. We got action. All right, so we have chosen to go with Sasquatch lights. I had a couple of different options, but what are you doing?
I got it.
What are you? He's losing all the tools. So we went with Sasquatch lights, and the switch is wired up. Now it's just about finding the best place that we can find to mount it. I think we're still gonna put it in that same spot, but we're gonna have to take some of these trim pieces off. I got the trim removal set that literally showed up today. So we should be able to take some of this plastic off, get this in behind, pop it in, and we'll have our lights done here before too long. So we've taken off the trim piece. You have these little spots here where the piece of trim just pops off. We pulled it from this corner and just got this one loose, then that one loose, and so on and so forth all the way back. And it just goes to right here past the gear shifter. And what we're gonna do is we are going to, I'll show you in a second, on this piece of trim, there is an open spot right here where we marked out our measurements. We're going to use an oscillator or an X-Acto knife to make the rectangle, and the switch will sit right here so he can switch it on and switch it off while he's on the trail. All right, so we made the mark, see it right there, for where the switch is going to go. We're just gonna use an oscillator to get this side and that side, and then we'll probably use the X-Acto knife to get this side and this side, and then that switch will slide right into that piece of trim, and that piece of trim is what goes right there on the driver's side by the gear shift.
Just live while I can, stay here in the moment, 'cause I'm free to be my own man. No limits, no ceiling.
So we were able to get the switch put in right there on that panel. And it's really clean. You can scoot the seat all the way up and it doesn't touch it. Don't hit it with your knee. So after took, I don't know,
A lot longer than it should have.
but it was our first time, and we're also trying to be extremely careful because this is his brand new truck.
Yeah.
So the switch was wired. The one issue we have with the switch is that on the bottom right hand side of that rocker switch, it has a power that will keep the light on all the time. And obviously we didn't want the battery to die, so we just cut that, taped it to the other wire, and put the switch back in. The wiring from the lights is decently clean. It could definitely have been
Yes.
better. I think we can clean it up later. These aren't going to be the lights he keeps forever. These are ones that I have had in my garage that I said he could just use, and let's try to figure it out with these. And if we break them, we break them. It doesn't really make a difference. So I think we'll end up getting a different switch, or I'm sorry, a different light. The brackets went on super easy. Those just bolt right to where the hood bolts to the hinge. It is on a fuse, so we put the lights on a fuse so it doesn't blow that circuit. And that's really it. It was a relatively simple install. It took us about 3 hours.
Yeah, the hardest part is getting the wire through the firewall.
Getting the wire through the firewall. We ended up using a Allen key, and we taped it to the Allen key and then pushed it through. I grabbed it with needle nose and pulled it. Once that first one was through, we were able to get the other one through really easy. We do need to, I did cut it with a razor blade as well, so we're gonna have to get in there right now and tape that up. But if you guys have it, like the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos, and let us know if you have any comments about how terrible we did or what you think we could have done better.